Hey there. Hey, I have a question for you. Have you ever felt a potential client lean out during a conversation where you're thinking about working together, you're talking about working together? Well, on today's Thrive Thursday Facebook Live, you're going to discover how to bring that lean in back with 3 simple sentences so they re-engage and you are a lot more likely to get a yes. Hey, if you are here with me live, I would love to know with a hashtag live, or if you're watching the replay, let me know with a hashtag replay. By the way, hello and welcome. I'm Charlotte Jacobs. I'm the co-founder of Thrive Academy, where we've been called the #1 source for turning coaches and holistic practitioners into 6-figure transformational leaders. And our members have earned hundreds of millions of dollars collectively in the past almost 17 years. And I'm really excited about this conversation, this topic today, because hey, if you have been in our Facebook group, then you know we put up a post saying, hey, I found this template, and do you want these 3 sentences? And you're all like, yeah, tell me. There were so many of you that were interested in this. So I wanted to go deeper into this topic today so it can help you get better results with these 3 sentences and make sure you fully understand the psychology of why these will work, the energy and intention you have to have behind them, and so much more. I see Angelita, you're here with me live. So thrilled. Thanks for saying so. And again, let me know if you're here with me live with a hashtag live or a hashtag replay so I can say hello. All right, so let's start with this. Let's talk about this. So let's imagine you're in the middle of a heart selling conversation. That's what we call it here at Thrive. It's heart selling. You're in the middle of a heart selling conversation. You're in the middle of a free consultation. You might call it a strategy session, discovery session, whatever it is, or even just having a conversation with a potential client who's interested. And as you're talking, you start to see the telltale signs that your potential client is starting to energetically lean out. They went from seeming like they were interested to suddenly something's off and you're not sure what's happening. Maybe their voice changes, maybe they seem energetically smaller. If you're in person, you might actually physically see them lean out. If you're on the phone or you're on a Zoom, you might feel it, but you know it's there, right? It can even happen in chat where, you know, we don't have a lot of context for body language or voice tone in chat, meaning like having a conversation in the direct messenger. But you, like, maybe they get distracted or they just seem to like avoid eye contact or something's up, right? So in these situations, what do you do? And actually, before I get into the what do you do, I would love to know if you've had this experience, if you've been in a call, talking, you know, in person, talking with a potential client. It seems like they're interested, but then they start to lean out. And I'd love to know if you can let me know in the chat, what were some of the signs that you noticed that had you go, something's up there? Most of the time, when most coaches and holistic practitioners feel this, they have no idea what to do. So that's why I'm so excited to talk about this with you today, because I'm going to give you the 3 sentences if you don't already have them. And I'm going to talk about why they work, what you can say to bring the lean in back in, and what your intention and your understanding and thinking has to be behind the scenes in order for this to work. So in this situation where your potential client seemed interested and then they seemed to lean out, you can rely on the 5 elements of heart selling to turn the lean out into a lean in. For some potential clients, it may only take 1 element to unlock the door for them to open their hearts to you and lean in again. For others, you may need to use several or even all of the elements in your conversations to encourage them to lean back in, to go from disinterested to re-engaged. Now, I'm talking about the 5 elements of heart selling, and if you are new to our world, you may have no idea what I'm talking about. This is a proven heart-based system for having conversations with potential clients where they practically talk themselves into working with you if it's a good match. Everybody walks away from the conversation feeling good, feeling in integrity, feeling aligned. There's nothing pushy about it. It's super honoring and respectful. And your potential clients will leave inspired, and you don't have to feel like a swarmy, weird salesperson. So we do go deep into the 5 elements during our Client Attraction Summit. We also go deep into the 5 elements during our in our book, The Art of Attracting Clients. So if you're not familiar and you want access to learning a little bit more, I will just say this, that so many coaches and holistic practitioners have used the 5 elements of heart selling, and it's completely changed the way they feel about selling. And I think you're going to really get this during this talk today. It's gotten them plenty of clients too. So if you're interested in learning more about the Client Attraction Summit, and if you might qualify for a scholarship, just go ahead and drop the word summit and I'll reach out with some more info. For today, we're going to focus on 2 of the 5 elements, earth and metal. We're going to talk about earth and metal to bring the lean in back. Now, if you requested the template that I offered on Tuesday, you in this Facebook group, you already have access to a simple 3-sentence little, 3 sentences that you can say that support a potential client to lean back in if they seem disengaged. Now, again, you can use this in a one-on-one conversation, whether it's in person, whether it's on the phone, whether it's on Zoom, again, even over chat. And so I'm going to share how the earth and metal elements show up in this template so you can understand the psychology behind why this works so well. So I'm going to go ahead and drop these 3 sentences into the chat right now for you, because I'm going to say them out loud, but I want to make sure that you have access to them. Here we go. 3 simple sentences. All right, here we go. All right, I have dropped them into the chat so we can make sure you don't have to like crazy grab notes right now, right? But I do want you to take notes, but not being like, what did you say? So this is how the sentences go. So you're in a conversation, the potential client seems to be leaning out, leaning away, and we call it the leanometer here at Thrive. And the template goes something like this, like, I appreciate you a lot, and I strongly believe that you can get blank result. It would be my honor to support you to get there. Now, I'm not attached to whether or not we choose to work together. I'm here in service to you and your vision. Now, you might be wondering, what do you put in that result? Well, in result, you hopefully earlier in the conversation, you got crystal clear on the result that your potential client would like to get, like the thing that they're looking for in their life, the thing that you can help them get, that transformation that they are looking for. So you are hopefully crystal clear on that. Now, if you're not, it likely means you need some support and understanding heart selling. Maybe you don't know how to deliver a consultation that turns into a paying client. Again, if by the way, if you want a copy of our Get Clients Free Consultation Formula, just drop the word consult and I'll send that to you after we're done here, and send that to you in the chats. Here's the thing. One of the biggest problems that I see so many coaches and holistic practitioners deal with is they don't know how to sell. And I have some hard truth for you here. If you don't know how to sell your services, you don't get to stay in business. Straight up. If you don't know how to sell your services, you don't get to stay in business. Fortunately, what most people think sales is, this like schwarmy, manipulative, forcing your services on other people, trying to like trick people into buying from you. Fortunately, that's not what sales is really about. If you want to be good and you want to be effective, especially when you're selling something as intimate as coaching or holistic work, and it doesn't matter what area of life you work in, you are asking people to open up and be vulnerable and really go into, whether that is problems in their health, problems with their money, problems with their relationships, problems with their, what they're dealing with spiritually. It's a really intimate relationship. And so it's just like off brand for you, right? It's just like not aligned, not authentic, not an integrity to do this kind of selling that I just described. Now, I will say that traditional sales tactics do teach a lot of weird, like schwarmy tactics. And they just, they don't work for coaches and holistic practitioners, partly because you just can't get aligned with it. It just feels gross, so you won't do it. 2, they just don't work, like selling a car and trying to like do some kind of weird thing to get somebody to buy the car. It's a very different kind of sales conversation when you're selling the intimacy and the transformation that people are going to get from working with you. So the good news is that kind of selling, it's not effective. You don't have to do it. You're never going to have to do it, and it's never going to work. And the good news, maybe it seems like it or not, but there is a way to have a conversation with a potential client where they love being in the conversation with you, where they respect you and they honor you, and they get the value that your work has for their life. And they lean in and they say yes. And the cool thing is, once you gain mastery in heart selling, you have it for the rest of your life. You become someone like you walk around and people just want to be in your presence. It actually changes who you are so that you show up more powerfully, more compassionately, more in service, more connected, and you get more clients. Like, people want to be in your space. And so that is the cool thing. So the good news is that heart selling is a completely different way of going about it. And, again, for those of you who have either read our book or you've been to the Client Attraction Summit, you likely remember the 5 elements of heart selling. We're going to talk specifically about earth and metal and how these 3 sentences that I gave you contain earth and metal and how to really make them work. So in this short template, and by the way, we have templates for just about anything that could happen when it comes to finding, attracting, and enrolling new clients as a coach or holistic practitioner. But in this short template, one of the main things that you're doing is you are releasing your attachment to the outcome while still staying connected with your potential client and still showing up in the energy that if you're a right match, they will want to work with you. A long time ago, somebody described this as being committed but not attached. Like, I'm here to stand for your transformation, and I'm not attached whether you work with me or not. So this, and this isn't a defeatist statement, right? The releasing the attachment to the outcome. It's not like, oh, I give up and, I'll just talk to you for free and I'll give you some free coaching or advice and I'll just leave it at that. That is not what this is about. Instead, these 3 sentences do several things. They're really I have 5 reasons why these 3 sentences will help to re-engage your potential client and make it much more likely that they will say yes instead of you losing the client. So let's talk about what these are. So there are a few things that are happening in these 3 sentences. The first thing that's happening is that you're releasing a little bit of the pressure. So the potential client might be leaning out because they're feeling like they're being sold. What happens with a lot of coaches and holistic practitioners, and maybe you can relate to this, maybe you can give me a #relate if you feel this, that you feel so uncomfortable about being in a sales situation that you get a little awkward. And then your potential client senses your awkwardness, and maybe you aren't actually trained, because being able to use heart selling, it's training. It's something that you learn how to do and you practice and you get good at, and you get good at it to the point where you can just relax and be yourself and have the conversation and show up in service to the other person, be committed without being attached, all of those things. It takes practice, just like anything else. Like, you don't do the thing that you do with potential clients just out of thin air, right? You learned, you got trained, you practiced. I mean, I know, goodness, I went to acupuncture school for 3.5 years, and I will tell you that the year of the internship was not enough for me to feel confident when I got out of school, right? And I got my license. It takes a while to really feel that confidence. And so if you're feeling that discomfort and you feel uncomfortable selling, your potential client's going to sense that, and it's going to get awkward. So maybe if you can relate to that, you can give me a #relate, like, yeah, I've been that way. I get that. So when you release this pressure a little bit, one, just to rewind, really make sure that you get training in how to enroll a new client, whether it's our heart selling system or something else. Learn how to do this, because you don't get to have a business. Again, you don't get to have a business if you don't know how to sell your services. So you got to get that training so you don't feel awkward, so you feel comfortable, so you can practice with peers, and then when you show up with a real potential client, you don't feel all strange about it. So, but I was saying that there were these 5 reasons that these work. So one is releasing a little pressure. So if the potential client was feeling anything like any kind of pressure, like they're being sold to, you saying these 3 sentences will release that pressure a little bit. And what this does is it creates trust and it creates lean, and it's like you're having the authenticity to stop in the moment and kind of notice how they are reacting to you and saying something about it. Now, sometimes people seem to be energetically leaning out. They're not really, they're just thinking. They just went into their head to be like, how could I make this work? But when you check in, and even if you use these sentences and this sentence and they're not leaning out, it still should create a lean in, because you're just releasing a little pressure. And here's the thing, and this is a really important thing with this one. You have to genuinely not be attached to the outcome. If it's going to create that trust, you have to genuinely not be attached to the outcome. So this isn't a tactic to pretend that you're not attached if you are. So with anything in heart selling, your intention shows up before you do, right? Before you say anything. So we need to make sure that we're keeping the energy of the conversation clean, right? I say clean energy, you know what I'm talking about. And I don't think I need to worry about anybody here like showing up as a schwarmy salesperson with malintent, but just to make sure you know that that has to be, this energy has to be clean. And it's a balance. So if your energy is clean and you're showing up in service with a potential client and to their transformation, and if you're willing to hold the vision more strongly than they can for themselves, people will often step up into your certainty and say yes. So there's this interesting thing that happens when you show up where you're ready to like stand for them, having what they want, and you're ready to hold that vision. Because there's like, okay, if there's like a spectrum, right? And we have on one end of the spectrum is the sales box, the other end is the heart box. Most coaches and holistic practitioners are so afraid of being perceived and judged and put in the sales box that they swing all the way over to the other end of the spectrum and give away too much and are way too soft. And what we want instead is we want balance. So you're in the middle of that spectrum where you're like, you've got heart and sales, and you're showing up in service to the transformation that your potential client says they want. So like what could they get if they worked with you? And when you show up in that energy, ready to stand for them, there's a way that it's like they can step into your certainty that you're holding the vision that it is possible for them. And when you can do that, you will find how much more magnetic you become. So, and here's the thing, if you show up ready to collapse at any moment because you're stuck in your head, being worried about what they think, you will lose that potential client. You're not going to get the client. So what they're saying yes to, and this is something you really want to think about, they are saying yes to working with someone who can hold the vision that they can have what they want. And so if you can hold that energy of you're here to hold the vision for them, you're going to help them do the work, whatever that work looks like. You're going to go deep with them. You're going to facilitate. You're going to guide, whatever your work looks like. And you believe they can have what they say they want, and you're not attached to the outcome. That will make this really, really powerful. So that was the first thing that happens, is you're releasing a little bit of pressure so the potential client doesn't feel like they are being sold to. All right. And thanks to those of you who put down a hashtag relate. I know that many, many coaches and holistic practitioners feel this way and find themselves in this situation. All right, so the second thing that happens when you use these three sentences is you're bringing it back to the results that they said they wanted. Now, to the outcome they're looking to get, and people can start to veer away from this. And they have results so that they want to create an outcome that they want to get from working with you. And then they start thinking more about like, oh, I'm being sold to, or something else is going on. They're starting to tell themselves why they can't, because this is what human beings do, right? We have this idea for what we want to do. We get really excited, and then we call them gremlins. That's what I learned in coaching school. They're called gremlins. The gremlins come in and say, no, you can't have that. And here's why. And so their focus shifts from talking with you about what's possible and what they can have to why they can't have it. And so when you share that, talking about, I really believe that you can get these results, if you've done a good job on the heart selling conversation, it's going to bring their focus back to the results that they want. So that's number two. And you're also acknowledging them, which is the metal element. So the metal element is really about seeing the divinity in people and really holding of really acknowledging them by telling them that you believe in them. You believe they can have it. So that's number 2. Number 3 is acknowledging them by sharing that you believe in them, right? That you would be, and then they're stepping into your belief of what is possible, maybe even when they feel like they can't do it. You believing that it's possible for them, and you're going to help them get there. Number 4 is, and this is where we're showing up in the earth element, is showing up in service when you say, I'm not attached to whether we choose to work together or not. You're basically saying, I'm here in service to you and your vision, right? So that means that if you don't feel that they'll get what they're looking for by working with you, or that they won't have the best chance, that you might refer them to someone else. So let's say, for example, I was having a conversation with a potential client, and their number one thing that they wanted to do right now was to write a book. Now, I know a lot of people have a vision and a dream to write a book. I would definitely want to get curious and really understand what their real outcome is. Like, why do you want to write a book, and why do you think that that book is going to get you clients? Because it's a huge misconception that people think they're going to write a book and suddenly clients are going to come. I don't see that happen. You have to have the platform first. So I might work with them and coach them and really understand their vision and like, what do they really want, and talk about sequence. I would refer them to someone else, because it's a many of our clients write books, but they do it after they build the platform. They do it after they build the following and the audience and the people who love their work, and then their book goes crazy, right? They don't try to write the book first and hope that people will buy. So I'm in service to somebody's vision, and I'm in service to ultimately what do they really want in their life. And so that's where you're coming from with this. And that's why it's I'm not attached. And then you can refer out if you don't feel that you could be of that highest service. So that was number 4. Number 5, and I really like this one as well, is that when you say that I'm not attached to whether or not we choose to work together, you're also telling them that this is a mutual decision about working together, that you're checking them out just like they're checking you out, right? And I just want you to kind of think about this. Like, do you remember when you were a kid and you were like just wanting to like date and have some kind of a girlfriend, boyfriend, partner, whatever? And I don't know about you, but for me, I would get like really attached to whoever that person was, and get really weird because it was like, oh my God, do you want me? Like, I'm like all in, do you want me? And this is like top of mind right now for me, because our 10-year-old is really really has it bad for a girl that he's gone to school with, and we're just trying to like settle him. And I just don't want him to have his heart broken. I'm not sure how it would go, but I don't even think your mom would allow it. But I can just see the attachment, right? So when there's this idea of like, I'm really attached and I need you to be my client, like that energy, people like can't, like even if they want what you have, when you show up as needy, they will lean out, right? So when you let them know that this is a mutual decision about working together, that you're checking them out just like they're checking you out, they don't think that you're just trying to get them as a client at any cost. And I hope that you hold that standard for yourself, and that you only take on clients that you would enjoy working with when you feel it's a good match. I will say this, that in the beginning, I mean, I started my acupuncture and coaching business back in 2000, I want to say 2003, early 2003, 2002? 2002 or 2003, I think 2002. And I was extremely attached. I needed the next client to pay the rent. I didn't know how to talk about what I did. Nobody knew what coaching was at the time. People either had an acupuncturist or they were afraid of needles. I had none of the skills that we teach our members today. And it was hard. And I had to work really hard, and I had to talk to a lot of people, and I had to deal with a lot of rejection. It's part of the reason that we are so passionate about you getting the skills so that you can have these conversations with potential clients and you talk about what you do and they're like, what? I need that. I know I need to work with you, or I know somebody who needs to work with you. And that you have the heart selling skills to have that conversation where they want to work with you as opposed to you hoping and praying and needing, right? So like to have that confidence and have it for the rest of your life. Like that's really why I care so much, because I know how painful it was when I really needed the client. So if we can just release that tension a little bit and release that attachment a little bit, and I will tell you that even saying these words, these 3 sentences, it's part of it is it's declaration. You're making the declaration in the moment that you are not attached, that you're there in service to them and their vision. And there's a way where you kind of have to get out of your own way, and this is a great practice to try on. But I want you to start holding that standard that you only want the clients that really want to work with you. Not as a I don't care kind of teenager feeling, but as a real, genuine, I'm here in service to humanity. I'm really here in service to this human. If it's a good match, I want to help them. And I believe they can have what they want. And so like to really hold that vision for them and to hold that standard for yourself. That is what I'm hoping for you. So maybe you didn't realize that there was so much going on in these 3 sentences, you know, that we've got the medal in the acknowledgement and the honoring, and we've got earth as you show up in service. And that these, you know, these are just 2 of the elements of ways that you can bring the lean out. Use the leanometer to go from lean out to lean in. And they can really make a difference in your conversations with potential clients. Now, I know for some of you, you're like, I'm just not talking to enough people. I don't know where to find my people. And I would tell you there's a very clear set of steps, like these stages that every coach and holistic practitioner goes through that helps them to find, attract, and enroll their ideal clients. Now, unfortunately, most coaches and holistic practitioners skip stages. Like if you haven't fully gotten clear about your vision of what your business you want your business to look like, and if you haven't cleared some of those beliefs that are getting in the way of you being able to relate and connect with people and really show up in service to other folks without getting all in your way, and if you haven't defined how to talk about what you do in a way that creates confidence, clarity, and credibility in the eyes of anyone you meet, you have no business trying to find your people yet. Yet most people go right to trying to find their people. And then you're like, why isn't this working? So anyways, if you would like some support and you'd like to learn more about how to use the 5 elements of heart selling, how to talk about what you do so potential clients lean in, they truly enjoy connecting with you, they're a lot more likely to say yes. We dive in deeply to all of this at our upcoming Client Attraction Summit. I know that some of you are here already going to be joining us in September. If you're curious and you want to learn more and see if you might qualify for a full scholarship, just drop the word summit and I'll reach out with more details to see if you qualify. And now it's your turn. Next time you have a conversation with a potential client who is seeming to lean out, you can check yourself, make sure your energy is clear, your energy is clean, and then you can say these 3 sentences with complete authenticity. And again, just saying them sometimes is that declaration of not being attached. So I would love to know your biggest insights from today's live. Let me know in the chat, what was your biggest takeaway? And if you have any questions, again, I'm Charlotte Jacobs from Thrive Academy. I'm here almost every Thrive Thursday. And I look forward to chatting with you. I'll see you in the DMs. I'll see you in the group. Much love to you. Make it a great day. Until next time. Bye-bye, everyone.